Doctors, are you doing your marketing the right way? Hi, everybody. Welcome to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast, brought to you by CATS Consultants and Chiro Health USA. I'm Dr. Michael Perusich, your host, and I'm joined by my protein-eating co-host. Troy was eating sausage before the podcast started.
That's right.
Dr. Troy Fox. Troy, how are you?
I'm good. Just had my breakfast. I got my coffee mug here. We're going to talk about marketing today. We're going to talk about mistakes that people make.
I've got my
you get your Royals mug. But yeah, we're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff, because the truth of the matter is I see a lot of docs out there that copy and paste off of other people's Facebook pages, and that's their marketing plan. That's their whole marketing plan.
That's terrible.
One, if there's a link that goes through that photo, which sometimes there are, or sometimes there's a website that goes with that photo. Sometimes you're embedding that into your Facebook page, or your website or whatever.
How many doctors have we seen do that? And what they're doing is marketing somebody else's clinic, a competitor of theirs.
Yeah.
Because you haven't paid any attention.
Right.
And, so you've really got to stay on top of your marketing. If you're using a marketing company, you have to stay on top of it. If you have an employee doing it for you, you have to stay on top of it. If you're outsourcing it to somebody local, you need to stay on top of it. Yeah.
I think you said you have to stay on top of it every time, which is exactly true. Now, the other thing,
the doctor has to stay on top of it.
Yes, I think that's very important. And I just realized I'm Bridget Fox today too.
You are Bridget Fox.
Yeah. Yep.
Wasn't going to comment.
Yeah, I do that a lot. But so the other thing is too, when we go about this is, a lot of you don't pay any attention to it. You just think, well, I'm going to do what everybody else is doing, and that's going to be my marketing plan. So if somebody else is doing a picture, I'm going to steal that picture. If somebody else is doing a drive us all to the bottom of the well, $9.99 special. We've talked about this before. I won't go in depth, but I'm going to do that. So we're mimicking what each other do, which is really, do you see anybody else do that? Does Coca-Cola mimic what Pepsi does? No. They got their own marketing campaign, and their marketing campaign consists of more than just a Facebook ad. So should you consist of more than a Facebook ad? I'm going to conjecture, and Dr. Perusich, you can add into this, but I'm going to conjecture, yes, Facebook ads. We still market to that age group. There's a whole lot of people in that 40 to 60 or 70 year age range that utilize Facebook. People younger than 40 are not utilizing Facebook. So if you're marketing young moms and children, you're going to have to find a different way, whether that be through print ad. Maybe that works. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you're involved in local organizations. So there's several ways that you can market people. One, you can pay for marketing. You can pay a group to market, but they're only going to market like social media stuff, right? You can still advertise in your local newspaper if anybody still reads it or gets it. So if the circulation's good, make a qualitative decision. I have one paper in the area that is, and the other one that isn't, and they're both about the same price. So which one am I going to advertise in? The one that gives me circulation and people say they actually read. Poll your patients. If you don't live, like I don't live in the town that I practice in. So for me, I have to poll the patients and go, hey, which one of these newspapers do you guys actually listen to? And they tell me, so I advertise in that one. Another way is when you get asked to do something, like our local hospital asked me to speak next month at a health fair, and I'm the keynote speaker.
Perfect.
Cool, right?
Big deal.
It's a big deal, and I'm thrilled. So I was honored to be chosen to do that, and I'm going to go in ready to give information. But I'm not going to give a chiropractic sales pitch, because obviously that would be the worst way to do it. What I'm going to do is talk about some of the technologies that we have and how they assist, and how the chiropractic adjustment works well in concert with that. And that's how we're going to market that. The other thing is, you can look at like TikTok and Snappy Chat, as my wife calls it, instead of Snapchat. Snappy
Is that
Chat.
still around?
My kids use it. So my 22 and 23-year-old, all their friends are on Snapchat. I think you can advertise on there too, but we haven't marketed that age group. But those are some of the things you can do. What are other things that you think of right off the top of your head? Because you have to have a multi-faceted approach. And I know that I missed one, which is going to be direct to our patients. So yeah.
Yeah. No, you're good. I'm going to force a break here because we need to hear a word from our sponsors.
In today's economy, every dollar counts. Families are facing tough choices, having to reconsider what was once essential to them. When it comes to healthcare, no one should have to compromise on their well-being because of financial constraints. That's where Chiro Health USA steps in, the solution for your practice. We understand the financial pressures families are under, whether they're insured, on Medicare, or paying out of pocket for treatment. By offering discounts on care, you can ensure that your patients can still afford the treatment they need. At Chiro Health USA, we're committed to making sure no family has to sacrifice their health due to financial hardship. We'll work with you to create a game plan that keeps your waiting room full and your practice thriving. And here's the best part. Offering affordable care not only benefits your patients, but also positively impacts your bottom line. So why wait? Join Chiro Health USA today and join the ranks of the most successful practices. Because when you put your patients first, everyone wins.
Welcome back to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast. We are talking about staying on top of your marketing because it's so danged important. And Troy, you brought up something that's real. You have to have a multifaceted marketing plan. You can't just throw something on Facebook and think it's going to do anything.
Yep.
You've got to be on Facebook and Instagram and Google, and TikTok's becoming kind of a big thing now. And you mentioned the Snappy Chat. I don't know anything about that one, but I didn't even know it was still around. But that may be a medium. But we have to make sure that we're targeting, not just trying to get anybody with a spine, because your practice isn't called anybody with a spine chiropractic. We all have some kind of niche or target. And the profession, just in general, when it comes to marketing, has a very specific, and a lot of people don't realize this, has a very specific age group that we should be marketing to. And it's the 35 to 55-year-olds.
Yeah.
Now, there's a stretch market, which is about 30 to 60, but you notice we're not going to 65 and 70, and we're not going to the 20 and 25-year-olds. They're the tire kickers. They're the ones looking for the new deal, the new patient deal. They're the ones looking for the quick pop and go. And so I told you guys, I did this while you were talking, Troy. I just did a quick cursory search on Facebook. Here's what I found. $60 new patient deal, a $48 new patient deal, a $30, a 19, a 9, an 11, and a 12. And here's my favorite, $20.25 to celebrate 2025.
That's not gimmicky at all. And folks, there's a time when you could run a new patient special, but when you're running it all the time because it's the only way you get new patients in the door, I think it cheapens the profession. And I think the less we can run it, the better, just because I do believe overall, it just makes us look cheaper. There are certain times, maybe even in practice for 5 years, and you want to do something for your patients and you go, hey, for those of you that patients, fantastic. If we haven't seen you in a year, here's an offer for you. If we haven't seen you ever, here's another offer. Get to know our clinic. It's a great way to bring other people in because sometimes people haven't seen your clinic and they were on the fence about whether they were going to come in.
Right.
But if you're consistently running that month in and month out, you're going to get the type of patient that you don't want in your practice, which is the one that's looking for the free stuff and doesn't have any intention of following through. So you go to all this work to educate a patient, and then they end up in my practice later.
Yep.
And I appreciate it if you educate them. But what I see in most cases is because you're doing the new patient special, what I see is chiropractors that don't educate their patients. They have no idea why they're getting chiropractic care. So part of the marketing aspect is that we do have to work with those patients once they come in, and they have to understand why they're getting chiropractic care. So that's the follow-up to the marketing step. Some people don't realize that. It's like, well, I don't understand. They're going out as fast as they come in. And that's a whole nother podcast, but that's another step to the marketing arm, is that if you're going to get patients in your practice, let's please educate them as to what chiropractic really is, and that it's not a pain relief only technique. That one drives me insane when your patients come to me and tell me my last chiropractor just told me, call me when you hurt, or call me when you need me, which
my
means
gosh, please don't do
call
that.
me when you hurt.
That's
Which
not what
means
chiropractic's all about.
that's like not maintaining your vehicle and driving at 200,000 miles and expecting it to hold together. I'll just call you when a light goes off on the dash. And some of you drive like that, and
Some do.
it shows, and I'm behind you sometimes on the road.
So I want to unpack something just a little bit because this could be a bad piece of meat and get bigger the more we chew on it. But our marketing needs to create retention. And that may sound like two totally opposing thoughts, but we create retention through a couple of things. Marketing in a professional manner that shows our professionalism and approach to healthcare. But it's also about marketing to the right people. And when you market a $9 new patient special, for example, you're marketing to the person who is already planning on never coming back to you until there's another $9 deal. And so we have to realize that the price that we put out there indicates the value we think our clinic is worth.
Mm-hmm.
And so is your clinic worth $9? Is your clinic worth bringing in a whole bunch of patients who are never going to become profitable for you? Now, if you're a 501c3 and that's your whole goal and your whole mantra is to just introduce as many people as possible to a one chiropractic visit plan, okay, I think that's crazy, but in reality, that's what a lot of you out there are doing. And so we've got to make sure that we're marketing to the right person, the person that finds value in what we do, number one. Number two, if we have a niche in our practice, we need to make sure we're marketing to that niche. And I'll give you a great example, and this is real. A couple of weeks ago, I was talking to a doctor who was complaining about their marketing not hitting.
Mm-hmm.
And this was not a client of ours. And I said, well, okay, well, tell me about your practice. Well, we're a pediatric practice. We treat mostly children and pregnant moms. I'm like, okay, so where are you marketing? I'm marketing on Facebook and Google. Okay, so I'm going to pull up your clinic on Facebook. And I said, so your marketing that you have on Facebook doesn't say a word about kids and pregnancy. And he said, I'm just curious, are you getting a lot of older clientele? Because he was in kind of more of a retirement community where there's a growing young people population, but there's also retirement population. And he said, yeah, we're getting practically all of our new patients are Medicare patients.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's because you're marketing to the Medicare segment. You're not marketing to the pediatric base. So you got to really think about, what is my practice all about? Who is my perfect patient? And how do I market to that perfect patient? And I'm going to go back to something you said a couple of minutes ago, Troy. You talked about the copy and paste marketing. Copying from other people's social media, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to get you the kind of patients that want to go to their practice, not yours necessarily.
Oh. Yeah, well, if that's your same type of practice and you're looking at somebody that's 1,000 miles away that's doing the same, that's doing some marketing, and you go, hey, that's catchy. Now, can you mimic that and do your own thing? I would say make a live or a video or something like that to where people actually look at it. And yes, I mean, if it matches your philosophy, but here's the thing, philosophy is not set by what you named your clinic. Right. At the 11 o'clock hour, right before you opened, when you decided to call it first or call it Pediatric Family Wellness Center. Yeah, so we'll throw all the words out there that chiropractors use. Pediatric Family Wellness Center. And then you open the doors and, like you said, you market, like you put out stuff on Facebook, like, is chiropractic effective for low back pain? Is chiropractic effective for neck pain and headaches? Those are all great articles, right? But who are you marketing? Your 30 to 50-year-old patients. You're not marketing a child. You're not talking about infantile colic. You're not talking about bowel movements with young children. You're not talking about any of that stuff. And so as a result, your Pediatric Family Wellness Center happens to be a Medicare practice. And so we see that often to where you may signal that you're one type of practice, but the truth of the matter is, if we walk into your practice, you're a totally different type of practice. So you need to know what your identity is. And if the type of patients that are coming through your door are not what you want, look at your marketing, because you are marketing a specific type of patient. And you know what? Sometimes your branding is wrong. And sometimes who's in your practice is who should be there because that's what you're good at treating. And you tend to draw that type of patient sometime into your practice. So it's not always marketing. Sometimes you're just darn good at treating Medicare age patients or 30 to
Sure,
50
which
year
is
olds
fine,
with headaches. And
which is fine.
maybe you weren't meant to treat children or athletes or whatever you've got on the outside of your door.
And, I think too, when we talk about staying on top of our marketing, one more card in that deck is a lot of doctors out there are using marketing companies.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
we need to take another quick break, but I want to come back and I want to talk about staying on top of your marketing, even when you have it outsourced to a marketing company. So
Right.
talking about staying on top of your marketing, we'll be right back.
Pat's Chiropractic Consultants, your partner in chiropractic success. We are dedicated with one-on-one guidance to bring you all your practice management needs. Let's supercharge your practice. Give us a call today.
Okay, welcome back to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast. Troy, we're talking about staying on top of your marketing. And before we went on break, we brought up the idea that you have to stay on top of marketing even when you hire a third party to do your marketing for you. And here's the biggest problem I see with that. And I don't want to get a bunch of calls from the marketing companies thinking we're poo-pooing you guys.
Nope.
We're not.
Not
But
at all.
I'm pointing out to the practice owners why you have to stay on top of what they're doing. They don't know your practice. They don't know your practice. They
Right.
have an idea of what chiropractic is all about in a general manner. And so if they're just posting general stuff on your website, and there's a caveat to that too. If they're just posting general stuff on your website, on your social media, um, it's not targeted to your practice and the kind of patients that you're trying to bring in the door. The other side of that is if they're static posts, if they're just pictures and print copy and that kind of thing, not video, and they're posting it on other people's pages and social media, the social media web crawlers take note of that and they'll close your algorithms down because they
Mhm.
see it as a copy. It's not unique. The whole idea behind social media is that you are unique. And when you go copying other people and that same ad is on 6 other social media sites or more, I don't know what the number is that they pick up on, but they could be shutting down your algorithm. So now you're paying a whole bunch of money to have some marketing done, and it may be nice looking marketing and those kind of things, but is it opening up your algorithm or is it shutting it down? So you need to stay on top of your marketing companies and have a regular cadence of phone calls with them and make sure that you're helping them understand how to drive your marketing because they don't get it until you tell them.
That's exactly the point I was going to make. Part of this is trust but verify. Make sure that your marketing
Mm.
company is doing what you want. But the other part of the equation is don't just hire somebody. And I see this often where somebody will hire a marketing company, and then the marketing company starts asking the hard questions like, where are you trying to head with your marketing? And the doctor's going, well, that's not my area. I'm just going to let them handle that. No, no, no. What they're asking is, who are you? And that's such an important question. Who are you as a practice? Where do you want to go with your marketing? They'll come up with some slick stuff for you. And that's what they do. They're good at marketing, but they have to have a direction. You can't just say, I'm a chiropractic practice, do something. You're going to get those generic static posts in a lot of cases, or a generic, maybe you're going to get an AI video, but you're not going to get anything that's really truly unique because you didn't give them a direction to go. So I'm going to put part of the
Right.
blame back on you. And that's that regular cadence of conversations, not only with your marketing company, but with your staff. So yesterday I met with my staff. Guess what we went over? We went over because the areas that we're in is Facebook advertising. We talked about that. Where are we at? What are we doing? And how much ad spend are we using right now?
Mhm.
Number 2, newspaper, print. Some people don't use print. We still do. We're in a small town.
You're a small town. It's
We're a
great.
small
It's a great
town, so
medium.
we're still using print. And so as a result, I want to know, what's our ad spend on print? How often are we in the paper right now? How many ads do we still have in the shoot? In other words, what do we have available and ready to go that we've prepared? Because we always try to prepare in advance. Number 3, what are we doing in-house with our patients? Do we have kind of promotion? Or do we have an education
Troy, your
component with
Troy,
our
your video is pausing just a little bit. So I'm gonna
component for a second?
we both lost. So I want to piggyback on that just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to make sure, it kind of goes back to that multifaceted idea. You got to make sure that you have the reach and frequency that is effective. And
Mhm.
everywhere that's different. If you're in a small town, reach is pretty easy because it doesn't take long for everybody to know who you are. If you're in a big community, reach and frequency is a really big deal because it's harder to reach people in a bigger community. So you have to take those kind of things into consideration when you're doing your marketing. But I want to give a couple of tips here too. I know a lot of doctors shy away from doing videos and things. Don't. Those are the best marketing pieces you can ever do because it shows your personality, it shows who you are, and it's your uniqueness. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. A 30 to 50-second video about a condition of the week, about being open extra hours today, whatever it might be. Make sure that you're doing things like that because those kind of things are incredibly important. So we've been talking a lot today about staying on top of your marketing. So make sure that you guys are staying on top. Make sure that you understand what works, what doesn't, and who your target market is, and really focus in on it. So at Katz Consultants, we help doctors with their marketing. We don't do your marketing for you, but we help you understand it. We help you know how to utilize it. We help you know how to refine it, and we give you ideas. So be sure and go check us out at katzconsultants.com. See all the great things that we're doing to help doctors create more profitable practices. So from all of us here at Katz Consultants, Troy, thanks for being on today. I know we both kind of froze up there a little bit for a second, but hey, that's okay. We probably overloaded the internet with too much information. All right. From all of us here at Katz Consultants, and thanks to Chiro Health USA, we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.